Cowboys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that silver and blue that did it again. Them Cowboys, look like Cowboys. Make say Wild Boys from the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Cowboys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the. Goddamn, they did it again. How about them Cowboys? Look like Cowboys. Make say Wild Boys from the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Cowboys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that silver and blue that did it again.
What's good, everybody? What is good? Can y'all hear me? What is good? Might see a little different change if I just switched it up right quick. Let me know if y'all can hear me real good. Let me know if you can hear me real good. Let me know if y'all hear me. It's going to be switching over here in a second. You can hear me now? Can y'all hear me? Let me just know y'all can hear me. All right, there we go. They might be a little catch up. What's up? I got my man. This is Big Game James. I see everybody in the feed. Let me give shout outs right quick. Mr. GT, hold on right quick. Let me give my few shout outs and then we're going to jump right into it. Boo Things in here. The Ninja, Steven, Arthur, Roger, Rodney Hyman, Ninja Nuts, Floor Perrier. What's going on? Deshaun Thompson, Rue Glock, Carlita Martinez, Vondale Jackson, Arnold Sanders, Devontae Griffin, Stephen Roscoe, and many, many more. What's good? Gambino, Ty Gordon. How's everybody doing? You know what we talked about today. I said I was going to bring my man George Teague on here again. But guess what? The Illuminati of the NFL Network don't want to give out the all 22 just yet. So since we have to wait on that and we ain't getting plucked, we're just going to talk about the game. But with no further introduction, what's going on, Mr. Teague?
Hey, man, it's all good, man. Glad to be a part of it, brother. Thank you for having me in tonight.
Hey, it's good to have you again, man. We had you on the late night hype. That was a great show. Hey, ho, I got the $5 holla. We appreciate you. But it's good to already have you back, man. I'm excited. You know, Cowboys football. We're going to definitely talk about that. But before we get into anything, I want to talk about you because you a busy man. You got tees, takes, you got every take. Everybody got a piece of George Teague right now. You in Dallas Cowboy land. You AD coaching. You doing everything. Talk about what's going on in your life right now, Mr. T.
Yes, sir, man. Once I got done and retired from the Dallas Cowboys, I didn't really know which way I was gonna go, man. If it was just gonna be coaching or doing some broadcasting stuff, decided to go ahead and get into coaching. Little did I know it was gonna be high school coaching, but that's where it's been. So I'm the athletic director and head football coach at John Paul II High School. It's in Plano, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there. This will be my fourth year now, but 17 years of coaching that I've completed. Was blessed, man, to be able to get into the athletic director part. Straight out of it. Just jump straight in as assistant AD 17 years ago, and haven't looked back since, man. So uh, thought I had some opportunity. Well, I actually had some opportunities to go coach in the league a couple times, and even in college, but just opted to stay down here on the high school level. It's been really good for me, bro. Been really good.
Man, that's good to hear, man. It's good to hear that you're doing that thing. What school are you actually coaching for in the AD, and how long you been doing that?
Yeah, so John Paul II High School is the coach that I'm at. It's only a high school. It's a Catholic school in Plano, Texas. We've got about 700 kids in high school. Football program wasn't very good when I first came and took the program over. A lot of the programs were pretty good, but being the athletic director, I've been able to have my hand in a little bit of all of it. So we did make it to the state championship game last year in football. Lost. So got a little redemption I'm trying to work for towards that piece. But the rest of our sports teams have really picked up too. So I'm a proud athletic director. I can see myself doing it for a long time, coaching and being an AD.
Man, that's good to hear. I know that's a passion. I know a lot of people have passions of coaching, and once they leave the football game, they like to go into the coaching kids because that's where it starts. A lot of that starts more than anything. People talk about college and they talk about the pros, but where it starts in the little league and it starts in the high school realm, and that's good to see that you're back out there doing it. Um, Now, also, because I want to talk about your daughter, she's doing her thing right now. Let's explain to me what you got going on with your daughter right now.
All right, I appreciate that. So my daughter Jada, Jada Anissa Teague, she is a student actually at UTSA, UT San Antonio, and she is in school to be in broadcasting or in communication. And she's been very blessed to actually cover the Houston Texans now. So she's a Sports Illustrated writer and editor, and then does videos for the Houston Texans. So she's super busy doing that. It's always it. I think as guys, a lot of times we're always wanting our kids to, especially our boys, right, to grow up, be football players, and do their things. And my son JT, um, he is a software engineer. He's a coder. He did play college football at Drake. Um, but now he's working for a great company, doing extremely well, working on the back end of building software and stuff like that. He's also a co-host of my podcast on Teague's Take. But my daughter, man, she's blowing up. It seems like I got people calling her all the time. I just got some more stuff from people who want to cover some games live,
Mm-hmm.
some high school All American games and things of that nature. So y'all need to check her out, man. You can find her on Twitter, and she's pretty big on Instagram. She Instagram famous too. Just look
Yeah,
up.
I've seen that. That's what's been crazy to me more than anything is like, man, like she is really doing her thing. Like, did she go into that in the very beginning, or that's something kind of just happened, or because you were actually in the game, it just kind of made her kind of just jump right into it?
No, she actually went to school thinking she was going to do psychology. Probably was the way that it worked out, or what she was thinking, and then it kind of went to man, you know how we are when you're a kid in college or something. You keep changing your mind or whatnot, and she's like, "No, I'm gonna go be a teacher." And then just because she's so chatty, if I can put it that way, and opinionated,
Mm-hmm.
somewhat, the an affiliated paper or virtual paper that they have at UTSA um, asked her if she wanted to come and report on
Mm-hmm.
school news. Um, it's called the Pisano is the name of the organization. And man, once she got into that, she knew that was it. That's what she wanted to do. And so she started reporting on things at the college, and then she started covering UTSA football. And then that just led into she's done the FC Dallas now. She's done a little bit with the Cowboys, but this big deal with the Houston Texans now has been huge, man. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, man, that's a really awesome thing that you got going on with your daughter. I mean, just everything that you've really been doing has really been positive. I mean, I really like how you've been doing ever since you left the game. You've been a positive, pretty much role model to a lot of kids, just everything around. A lot of people just kind of gravitate to you, and I really just respect that about you, Mr. Teague. But let's talk about some Cowboys football, man. We saw what happened just recently in this Rams game. A lot of Cowboys fans were frustrated about this game. A lot of people are saying the sky's falling. Oh no, this is Jason Garrett all over again. The season's over. Why we're going to be 8-8. Dak is the same. I mean, does people need to do a little damage control and calm down? I told everybody relax. It's just one daggone game. But what's your kind of thoughts on just the aftermath of that game?
Yeah, I do think people do need to pump their brakes a little bit, and I knew it was going to happen. I think I might have even text you or tweeted you or DM
Mm-hmm.
something about, just after he made that call,
Right.
fourth down call. I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit later. But, the main thing is I think that we don't need to really jump to no conclusions about this. I know for a fact as a coach, you're always wanting to win the first game. That sets the tempo because we know this is going to happen whether it's with your fans or with the team. Winning that first game is critical for you to do that. So yeah, we should be uh, sensitive maybe to it, but it's not over. They did play well. Sure, there's some things that we can get better at, but I think honestly, man, from a coaching piece, I think with the way things are now, the way camp went, not having preseason games, not really seeing who could hit somebody else, tackle someone else, covered the way you need, man, it's a different world. And so
Mm-hmm.
this is like the first, although it's a real game, man, that's the first live game they've had, bro.
Right.
Um, and to come out with a loss by 3 against a good football team, um, that we probably could have won. I'll say that, or that we should have won, or at least went in overtime with. Um, I don't think it's too far fetched for people to think that we still can't be a dominant football team this year because we can.
I definitely feel like we can. And like I said, the frustrating part is about so many Cowboys fans. They're quick to jump ship. Like soon as it goes bad, one game, it's just like, okay, the season's over. No, it's not. Just like you said, we got a whole new staff. I'm not making any excuses for it. You know what I mean? But if we looked at the records for all the new coaches, only one team won that had a new coach, and that was Ron Rivera. I think it was 1 for 5 or 1 for 4 for all new coaches that started in week 1. So it's going to be a process. You're just not going to jump out of there and just sometimes hit the ball running. But as I said, even though we saw good and bad, we still in the Dallas team only lost by 3 points and still had a potential to win the game, even with the so-called mishaps or maybe not playing as good as we wanted defensively. Let me get your take, Teed's take. Let me get your take on the offense because a lot of people are frustrated with Kellen Moore. A lot of people are saying that it's the same offense. It's not anything different that we've seen from Garrett. And we've seen that last year when we were going on the road, we seen a lot of creativity at home, Teague. But when we got away, it just seems like it got close to the vest. Let's go with what we know. What are your thoughts on Kellen Moore? Do you think that's just, does he need to show some more things that can't be so basic? What do you think about his play calling right now?
All right. Yeah. So after watching and evaluating this, I did think we were simple at the first parts of this, early in the season. I do think, and I feel confident that as we continue to go, that the playbook is going to open up more.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I just think it's early, and if you watch any of the other games, you can see a lot of people are actually very simple because it's your first time going in the camp.
Mm-hmm.
It's been different, so you can't get into the playbook like the way that you need to,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're dealing with new young receivers, and things of that nature. So um, I was probably, I think I probably expected a little bit more, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
going into this game, just because we heard so much about the weapons, having the three, um, four-headed monsters, I guess, or when you talk about all the wide receivers that we have and having Zeke, um, and trying to make everybody happy. I think that they thought, and this is not having any knowledge whatsoever, I think that they thought, hey, we can go in here and win this game being vanilla and not having to show too much as we started to go down the road. Because everybody's wanting to know what McCarthy's going to do. What's this offense going to look like? What is Kellen Moore going to look like? And I think, I honestly feel that way because I don't think he would have made that fourth down call if he didn't think that we could win the game, on one single call like that.
Mm-hmm. Do you agree with
So
that fourth down call?
I don't. And I know I've heard a lot of people say, hey, we should be aggressive. That's not a call Jason Garrett would have made or something of that nature. And I immediately said it, so I got a lot of that when I was having discussions with people that I knew. Man,
Mm-hmm.
that was a great call. It was just, wide receiver got, CeeDee Lamb got to get more depth and all that kind of stuff. All that is true. And I thought I was going to hear more about analytics and stuff of that nature, and when you go for fourth and when you don't, when you try to score the points. But I'll tell you what, not taking that three to me, I think was detrimental. Just the way the flow was going of the game. I think if we tied it up,
Mm-hmm.
that we might have had something happen and we could go on down the field and eventually win the game. So I was worried as soon as we didn't make it. Maybe it was a great play call. We're looking at it in hindsight, but I think from a coaching standpoint, I would tell you what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
I would have kicked the field goal, tied it up, and at least give myself a chance if it was going to go into overtime. At least have that opportunity as opposed to, in this first game. Again, it's just the philosophy of trying to win it. I don't think I would have made that call. And did you see how McCarthy tried to deflect that a little bit, right?
Yeah, he did. uh, I mean, like I said, I personally wanted to win for the three, just how the game was going. You feel me, dog? I felt like the way the game was just funny. They only scored 7 points in the second half. It's not like they just were running out, scoring all kind of points in the second half. But it just felt weird how the game was going. It just felt like they were holding the possessions. It felt like when they were getting the ball, they were just drawing time off the clock. And it didn't seem like we were really getting the pressure to get after a Jared Goff, or they weren't figuring out where we was. It just seemed like the defense was a step late. So that's the reason why I wanted to go for the field goal, because I just wasn't trusting the situations the way the game was flowing. You get what I'm saying?
Dude, you
You feel me?
I think that the Rams, McVay, his plan was to dink and dunk, slow it down, get rid of the ball fast. Our front 6, 7 were too strong for them, and they just needed to get first downs.
Mm-hmm.
Keep running the clock and keep running the clock. And they did a good job at that in the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're right. They weren't scoring a lot of points. So I think we needed to take those three and make them show their hand and say, okay, what are they going to try to just dink and dunk us, try to win it 23-20.
Mm-hmm.
If you stop them one time after that, then we go down and win. Either way, you kick a field goal or you scored a touchdown, because there's plenty of time left.
Right.
Wasn't like it was,
It was like
critical.
it was like 11 minutes left in the game when that happened.
There was a lot of football left.
Right.
So I don't think we needed to do that because I think we were better shape. I think we were figuring out what they were doing. That once we started to get a little bit of pressure on them, they were getting tired, man. They were getting tired. Our big boys up front, man. Come on, man. They started putting them heat on them guys and making some key tackles. It was going in our favor, and I think we lost it when we didn't take that 3. I think the players, and I'm speaking from if I was on that team right at that time. I think when we didn't take those 3 and didn't make that 4th, I think the whole demeanor of the team changed at that point. I think the confidence kind of went away a little bit.
Yeah. Like I said, that was just a funny game to me. I just felt like we just came out. And I don't feel like we didn't came out unprepared, big dog, but it felt like it just felt blah again. That's what it just felt like to me. It felt like this offense was just blah. I want to see some excitement. You feel me, George? I want to see some excitement, man. We got CD Lamb. You got Tony Pollard. He only played like 4 plays, I believe. He's got to play a lot, man. Y'all got to figure a way to get him in the game. I know Ezekiel Elliott, and he did his thing, and he looked mighty good. But Tony Pollard needs to play more. You get what I'm saying? If you got a CD Lamb, and I know he's got a good mind, but even last year, I think the only thing that keeps me out there is last year we had a number 1 offense, right? But it didn't feel like a number 1 offense to me. It didn't feel like we was just. I've seen these other teams like a McVay or some of these other teams that are just explosive. You know what I mean? It just felt like we're getting a lot of chunk yards, but we don't look explosive, And then when I watched the Sunday, we just didn't look explosive again. And we have explosive type players. And I just feel like I don't know if you're feeling me on that. Are you hearing me on that one?
Yeah, man. I'm with you, and I'm not. Please, everybody know that I'm not trying to make any excuses for the playing. And anytime I do this, and many times we're going to do this together, talking about the Cowboys and stuff, I do still try to come because I'm sitting in this chair as a coach, in particular in these times, right? I don't want to make light of any of that or maybe put too much on that. I just know how hard it is. Listen, I'm going into a scrimmage tomorrow with another team for the first time. I am worried about, are we really ready to be as physical as we need to be because we haven't hit that way? Are we going to be hurt or injured early? Look at how many guys are getting hurt in the NFL right now.
Right.
And a lot of that's just because of the way it's been. Okay, how much do I need to show and be ready and have for confidence for the long term of my complete season? So I'm thinking, when we're going into this, you're right. I agree with you, right? With the talent that we have, the speed that we have, Mari Cooper, we got some guys that can stretch the field. You got a tight end that can you can use as an outlet. You got a runner. So, yes, there could be a lot more flash to what we do in the offense. And I wholeheartedly believe that McCarthy, Kellen Moore, and them have that up their sleeves to say, hey, we're going to go more vertical, crossers, double moves, whatever.
Screen passes. How about some bubble screens? How about some smoke screens? I mean, those type of things work. I mean, I'm not an offensive coordinator, man, but let's get some trips. Let's get some smoke. Send some guys, send a CD in motion. I'm not saying copy the Rams, George, but you can see send a CD in motion. You can fake to him and then do a bootleg and have Tony Pollard on your other side. Isn't that – I mean, aren't you tricking up that offense right there? Because that's a CD Lamb going one way. Now you got you get what I mean? Some misdirection. We talked about it yesterday, and I'm not even coming down on offense. It's just saying what we were talking about yesterday. Why does not Dak Prescott run a little bit more? I mean, he has the body type for it. I understand about, Law brought up it could be a contract thing. I don't believe that because he plays strong and he plays hard. So I don't believe it's that. But you got to use this man in bootlegs. I'm seeing all these other quarterbacks that are running out there that are using their legs, as a weapon because that's a second part of their game. And I believe that's a second part of Dak Prescott's game, and it's not being shown. And I feel like it's hindering us as an offense because we're not showing everything that we can do. And I believe when you do that, it makes the offense that more dynamic and puts that much more pressure on the defense. And I don't feel like we're putting enough pressure on the defense.
Yeah. No, I do think it's going to change because when we get into this game this next week, they're going to have to score some points. They're going to have to.
We're going to have to score some points against Atlanta because Atlanta's going to score.
Yep, they're going to have to score some points. So I think that he can't be conservative like this. Again, I'm, I think he was just trying to hold back some.
You can't do that though, big dog.
I'm telling you, I'm with you. Now I agree. I don't think you can, but the way they were playing, it looked like this is my opinion, and it's not favorable for the Cowboys. It looked like they thought we're going to go into this game vanilla and we're going to beat the Rams. And once they got into the game, all the things happening that you said, they weren't prepared to say, okay, now we got to do this. We didn't work on the screens this week. We didn't work on the whatever, the double post routes. We didn't work on any zone reads in the plan. Can they draw it up? Are they pros and they should be able to do that? Yes, but with a new head coach, the play calling being different, I don't know that they wanted to risk it. And his one risk was, let's go for it on fourth and win it right here.
Well, I'll tell you what. This is what I feel. Okay, the Rams game, that's cool. It is what it is, 0-1. But going in this Atlanta game, I'm not saying this is a must-win, but the stats say, and it's not good for you starting out 0-2 when you're coming out of an 0-2 start. It's just not a good thing. And going against the Atlanta Falcons, yes, I watched that game about numerous times with the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson's a very good quarterback. He threw for almost 300. He threw for 344 yards, 31 to 35, 4 touchdowns. But at the end of the day, they have a good front. And I want to ask you this because they had Terrence Steele out there, an undrafted rookie free agent. I don't know how he was starting. Maybe I like Brandon Knight. He was an undrafted last year, but I think he had a little bit of ankle injury, and maybe that's why they rolled him out. But that's a concern of mine because they have a Pat McKinley on the right edge that's going to be coming after him, okay? And he was all in that backfield against Seattle. They had 3 quarterback sacks, 10 hits on Russell Wilson. Our offensive line did not play the greatest. We got a lot of push up the middle from Aaron Donald. Obviously, there's not a lot of Aaron Donalds, but they do have a big boy in Grady Jackson. And he is a big, stout guy, and he's athletic for his size. Is that front of the Atlanta Falcons? They also have Dante Fowler Jr. Is that front from the Atlanta Falcons concern you going into the second game from what you've seen of the Rams?
No, I don't. And I want to answer that question, okay, about your front, but I wanted to say this before I forget.
Okay.
And I don't know if you heard this or not, if you paid attention to the news clips. One of the comments that Mike McCarthy made about how important this game was winning is going into what you were saying about not being 0-2, got to go 1-1. And the statement that he made was, okay, now basically no more horsing around. We got to go out and win the game, right? So I think some people miss that because to me, that's one of the things where I feel, and that's why I'm getting some of my opinion from, is like, I don't know that he was going in it fully just saying, hey, let's go be totally dominant. I think he was trying to hold back.
But do you like that I don't like that mentality though. I don't like that because we brought McCarthy in here. If you're saying that, and that's maybe a guess or that's what you're feeling, I don't like that feeling. Okay, because I don't want my coach coming up there, let's hold back this first game and let's see how it goes and then jump in hard. No, I don't want that. I want McCarthy coming in all the way deep because I said, you know what, he got a 5-year deal, but he ain't got forever, dog. He ain't got there forever. He ain't got 10 years to be sitting there taking his time and doing all that other stuff, dog. You got to come in there and hit the ground running. I'm not even trying to compare him to Jason Garrett because I think he's a better coach than him. But the point and the fact of the matter is, you can't be coming out here saying, "Oh, I'm gonna hold back." No, the Rams are a good team. That loss can come back to haunt you. You may see them again later on, probably in the playoffs. So I want my coach coming in, not playing around with no team. I want him coming in aggressive because that's what we have been lacking. That's what this team has been lacking, aggressiveness. So I don't want nobody holding back. I want you throwing the full kitchen table and letting every team. Come on, dog. You play with them Cowboys. Y'all know y'all's mentality. Now stop talking to me like that, George. You know y'all mentality when y'all came on that field. Y'all was ready to let everybody know.
Well,
I need that mentality game one all the way on.
You're right. You're right. The guy should be dominant and we should go out there. And I'm not saying that I like it and that's what I would do because it isn't. My goal is to win the first game regardless. It should be theirs too. We've been talking about that since the 90s when I was playing on
Right.
You got to do everything that you can to win that first game, whatever that means. Bring out all stops to try to win it. I just don't think he did it. So, and let me go into what you were talking about our offensive line and things of that nature, right? So I did see some positives during the game that I thought was foretelling on where we can be going down the road. Yes, I think it was good that we had to play Darnold and, some pretty stout guys in there. But, in the game, they were able to move him at times. Big, Connor Williams, Tyron Smith, we were able to get push up the middle and allow Zeke to be able to see, do his thing, and get vertical up the field. So I'm not as concerned about that. I do, maybe not having our edge guys the way we needed them to be right now. Having Terrence Steele out the tackle could be a weakness, but I think that we're going to be able to move. And once we do it, you're highly recommending to our guys, right, of being a little bit more creative.
Yes, we have to, because this is why I say we need to be creative. Not even cut you off, big dog, but when I see their secondary, they have a rookie in AJ Terrell, who he got worked over a little bit. They also have Oliver, and they have guys that their secondary did not play the greatest. Like I said, Russell Wilson only had 4 incompletions that game, and I think he had like 11 straight at one point in the game. And whenever he had time, when they started slowing down that pass rush, he was dissecting them, and how they were killing them, dumping off pass, doing the RPO, doing screen passes. We have guys in the screen game. We have Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. You can definitely run that screen game. You can definitely do the bootleg with the screen. Now, we lost a Blake Jarwin, which is huge. We lost our tight end, but we still got 3 bona fide threats as receivers. And if you got a secondary that got torched by those guys, which I don't think the Seattle receiving core is better than Dallas's, we need to go out there and put some points on the board, because I guarantee you, Matt Ryan and them are play action heavy. They're going to try that run game with Todd Gurley, and they're going to try to eat in that middle. And if they can't get that middle, they're going to play action and going to go deep, because they have a guy named Julio Jones that they will attack us. So that's the reason why I said more creativity in our front, and our defense has to put pressure on. Like I said, I don't think our defense played bad, but they got to be a step quicker.
Yeah, but Big J, come on now. I'm hearing you.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
What do you think if we become? I'm gonna say pass happy is the term that I'm gonna use.
I ain't saying pass happy, big dog. I ain't saying go away from Zeke, but I'm saying just a little more. Don't show it. This seems like we're showing what we're doing. Make disguise a little bit. You feel me?
And what are you talking about though? Motions.
Some motions.
Direction.
Like I said, some motions, misdirections, because we have the type of players that if we do motion and we have misdirections, they can bite on it because we have threats. You don't bite on teams that don't have the threats to do it, but we have the offensive threats to confuse teams and get them in play action, get them in misdirections, get them on. We can get these teams on plays because we have the players that are threats.
Mm-hmm. Now McCarthy, he ain't done. He's been screen guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think he has that. He's been vertical guy. I think Dak can make that happen
Mm-hmm.
with our guys. I mean, the old West Coast stuff, man. Crossing routes and getting those things. I think it's going to be good,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not. Uh, I don't know. They're going to have to do a little bit more, and I think that they're still going to hit this run game,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully, uh, I just think we got to stretch the field some more.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to this week, just because of and I think we're better than them. I think we match up personnel wise, our
Yes.
offense versus the Falcons defense, that we should be able to exploit people in the secondary, and hopefully we'll take what they give us, meaning if we need to throw the ball more, or if we need to get Pollard and Zeke and those guys out of the backfield a little bit more. Shoot, man, Zeke got people missing all on the sideline, man. I think he made like 8 guys miss on one play when he actually scored. I think he scored a touchdown on that play.
Yeah. Zeke is still Zeke. You feel me, big dog? He's still doing his thing. But do you feel me a little bit? We need to get Tony Pollard more involved. What?
I'm hearing you. He's fast. He's a changeup. Listen, we got CeeDee Lamb,
Mm-hmm.
Gallup,
Mm-hmm.
Cooper. All of them need the ball, right? Or do you disagree with that? All of them need the ball.
Yeah, all of them need the ball.
You got to have Zeke involved. One thing you just told me a second ago, Prescott need to get more involved with his legs. When is it? You're adding another guy into the fold. Now I'm thinking like a coach now.
Talk to me. You a coach? I'm a coach. You a coach. Talk to me. To let that coach come out of you. I want that coach to bleed out of you right now.
Now you asking me to design something where I'm trying to get 6 guys heavily involved somehow. I mean, we're always talking about triplets.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lucky enough to have a fourth, another running back, perhaps, or another wide receiver,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe you're really good and you got 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs. That's 5 guys. Once you start getting to 6 guys, trying to draw up a doggone play sheet that got a bunch of different numbers that I have to call for these guys,
Mm-hmm.
and you got a guy like a high dollar guy like Zeke that's got to get his 100 yards. That has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have his touches, his 25, 30 touches. You start running out of touches with 65 plays in the game, bro. It gets thin, man.
It gets difficult.
It gets thin.
And then people start, hey, I need the ball. I need my turn.
Yeah, it gets thin, bro. And we know we got to get Amari Cooper the ball, right? And now we didn't take CeeDee Lamb in the first round for no reason. You got to get him involved. He was coming in, turn the punt or whatever. Michael Gallup gave his piece. I mean, all the names I don't have to go back through that.
Right.
So I'm just saying, as we're trying to develop this program and this offense, that's more time. I'm not saying we can't ever get to that where everybody's. It's exactly what you said, though. We're one game in. We can't scrap everything because we don't know what his. I can tell you how they're looking at it.
Okay.
They're looking at this in quads of 4. Okay, 16 games, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, 4 games. I guarantee you that in their classroom or in the meeting rooms, they're going, this first quarter we got to be 3-1. We lost the 1 already. Now we got to go get these 3. So they're going to open up whatever they got to do. They're going to have to do better on defense as well. Show up a few things there. But I promise you, man, I'm the least amount worried. Now, when you have me back on in a week or whatever, or something different, then I might be sitting here cussing. Or something, but I really don't. I really don't. Like, he even touched the surface of what they're going to do with our offense, for sure. And I think it's going to be a big difference coming. This next.
I think, like I said, I think this is going to be a shootout. I think, honestly, I think this is going to be like a 35-31 game, in my opinion, because Matt Ryan, I ain't like sitting here like I'm super scared of Matt Ryan, but he does put it up. And, they like to throw the ball with him. I mean, he threw 54 times last game. He's known for throwing 50 times in a game. That's not out of the ordinary. And Todd Gurley, we had problems with him a couple years ago when he was with the Rams. And I know they're going to try to see how that run game goes in the beginning. Now, switching over to defense, because we talked a little bit about the offense, let's talk about the safety position, because you was a good safety with them Cowboys. You feel me? And that's been a big hot topic out here in Cowboy land. Is this safety position Earl Thomas? Is he coming? Is he not? Darian Thompson played. He had 10 tackles, but, I mean, I just feel like he's average. He's okay. They brought in Brandon Carr. He's going to be on the active roster, I believe, the whole year now. Let's say, I want to get your thoughts on all of this. Earl Thomas, would you put Brandon Carr over Darian Thompson, or do you feel good about Darian Thompson?
Okay. So when we all get a chance to watch our NFL Pass and all 22 stuff, first thing that we got to look at it with this defense, and I don't know if you guys even paid attention, but during the game, our defense, we were misaligned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some 1-9s that I know that's not typically what you're trying to do when you got a tight end. You got one guy in a 1 technique, and then the next guy's in a 9 technique. There's too many running holes in that, right? Even with our guys that we have.
Yes, please. Before you finish that, break all this down for all the people in here that's listening. Open the brains up. What's this defense? Talk to us about it, because you're a defensive guy, man.
Yes. So I was at the very beginning of the game, and now we shored some of it up, but we were misaligned a lot. Now and that's why they were moving the ball kind of handily. When people were like, man, how did they just move the thing down there? And I think it's, again, I keep going into how much time you had to prepare, right? Because we weren't ready in the beginning. All right. So for you guys that, I don't know how much the football guys that are listening know what a 1 technique is. You shade it on the center, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you got a 3-man surface, so you got the guard, the tackle, and the tight end. So we had one on the center, and then we had another guy way on the outside of the tight end. So that's B gap and C gap are wide open, the run through with people that can run up on the linebackers untouched, right? So that is a big no-no.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure when you guys go back and watch that, look at that, and you can see the linebackers. So when we're talking about that is their responsibility to reach up there and say, hey, move over. Pose, heel. And you'll see eventually they start tapping them on the butt. That's what we do. They move over, right? Because now these big linemen were getting up in their face. And you'll see Jalen Smith getting rocked by about 2 or 3 guys on a few plays because they had nobody over the lineman. All right, so going into that leads into linebacker play. You lose Van Der Esch, he gets hurt. Jalen Smith didn't look like he was running that well to me from what I saw. I think he's a heck of a football player, okay? But it just, again, I don't know if it's soreness, tightness, or something. It just didn't look like he was running as well as he normally does in the games, right? Then you get back into the secondary. You ask me about what do we do there. Man, Trayvon Diggs, my Alabama boy, roll tide, right? Gotta throw this stuff in there, right? He gave up some plays. He missed a tackle. But I think for the most part, he was where he needed to be. Might not have made the play, and I think he's just going to get better and stronger. I feel good about him. Xavier Woods, Darian Thompson, I think we can do better maybe than Thompson. I think he was a solid player. Came up, but there was still with some missed tackles. So what are you going to do with Brandon Carr, Woozier? Does he come in, move up? Do they move him to safety? Do they bring Brandon Carr in? I think they're going to be legitimately looking at perhaps how do we use Brandon Carr? Does he become another safety guy force. I know we got Wilson and Robinson, but I think Brandon Carr can come in and help quickly and at least put some more pressure on those guys. Xavier Woods is still doing his thing, right? Being a force and that kind of stuff. So I don't even know that we were – the Rams kept us in check by throwing the ball fast. So it didn't – quick game. This game – with the Falcons, I don't see this. Man, they got Julio Jones, who's going to stretch the field.
Right.
You know, they're going to try to. I don't know who you're going to put Trayvon Diggs on or Anthony Brown on. You got Calvin Ridley and Julio.
And they got this other guy that he had it's a third-year player, Russell Gage. He is their third receiver, and he's like the size of a Ridley, quick. And I was saying they were using a lot of over the top with Julio to bring that double coverage out and hitting those guys underneath, and they were really working that middle. But
Gage, how many catches? Gage probably had, I don't know how many catches he had. Probably had 100 yards too or something.
All three of them did.
Good. I mean, good Lord, right? And
right.
I don't know that it's stacked like that in the secondary. Our secondary is still our weakest link, I think.
Do you think their offensive receivers have a field day against us?
Oh my goodness! Yes. Yes, you're making me say something I don't want to say. Yes, drop your Cowboys defense if you got them in fantasy football league. Give up too many points to this, right? And so I think.
So what? Let me ask you this. So. What would be the best defense, in your opinion, for us to really run? Because just like you were saying, I was saying this as well. This is a better matchup for the Cowboys defense than the Rams because they're quick tempo. There are a lot of motion. There are a lot of wides on offense where I think the Atlanta Falcons is a more traditional. They do 11 personnel, but they also like to use 2 tight ends. They like to use a 2 running back system. So it's a more traditional. And we know Matt Ryan likes to do a 3, 4, 5 step drop. I mean, a 5, 7 step drop. He likes to do the play action. It takes him a while. He likes to go deep. So I think it's a better fit for our defense to be able to attack where we don't have to worry about, this is a quick motion. But do you think, what kind of defense do we need? A 4-2-5? Do we need to send a lot of pressure on him? What's kind of the key to really stopping this offense or trying to contain these guys?
Well, I think you just hit it on the head. I think it has to be 4-2-5. It's more nickel, especially if they're going 11 personnel, 3 wideouts, 1 tight end. Let our guys eat up front, being the pressure, because one thing about Matt Ryan, now I know he throws for a lot of yards and stuff of that nature, but he's also been known to make bad throws when he has pressure. He'll throw some picks too, and they still end up with a lot of yards and all that because Julio is just crazy sick like that, right? If you throw up, he's going to go get some of it. But I think you can force Matt Ryan into some mistakes by bringing pressure. Our front 6, man, is still doggone good. You start getting tanking on them dudes, cutting them loose, man, and you start hitting on that guy, he'll throw some bad balls, right? And that's one thing that's going to help us stay in the game. And when you look at the grand scheme of things, and this is why I say we have to also perhaps maybe slow the game down a little bit on offense. Contradictory to what we just said a minute ago about opening it up and taking some chances, doing that kind of stuff. And maybe I should say we need to be more ball control. It still can be a little bit more opened up, moving the chains, hold the ball 10, 12 plays or something, get down the field, keep the ball out of Julio's hands. Because it could be a matchup between the 2 Alabama boys, Ridley and Diggs. I think I'm going to take Ridley on that matchup. Or I don't know. I don't know who they're going to put on Julio. And they're going to move Julio all over the place, right? So if Julio's in the slot, Woods can't cover him.
And I sure don't want no Anthony Brown.
No. So
Jordan Lewis is supposed to be back this week.
Yes. So I don't know who Anthony Brown can do. I don't know who we got to to do that. Brandon Carr, he's just coming back in. Man, that's a lot of fire to walk back into
I
right
mean, he
now.
gonna have to be ready because I sure don't want no Thompson back with that fire, big dog. I don't want Thompson nowhere near that fire because it's
Well,
only gonna. I hear what they keep saying about. They keep pumping him up, but he was a second round draft pick, all that, this and this. Man, come on, big dog. Y'all, we had Darren Woodson, we had you, we had good safeties where we felt good that we didn't feel all scary back on that back then. I don't feel good. You know what I mean?
let,
I
let me
don't feel
let me
good.
let me tell you something. And this be something for this is an old cowboy story here, okay? And
Tell
this
me
is
it. Tell me it.
it pertains to me. In a conversation I had with Jerry Jones the first time I came to the Dallas Cowboys, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I just got released by the Atlanta Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
So most people didn't even know I was at the Falcons. I just got released by the Falcons. Jerry Jones calls me on the phone. This is on a Thursday, right? He
Mm-hmm.
says, we're talking about whatever. I want to get into specifics, but it was more, hey, what's wrong with you? We want you. We think you're the next best safety out here on the waiver wire. We want to bring you in. Okay. So I said, all right, we're good with that. He said, listen, it's Thursday. He said, we're gonna fly you in on Friday. You're going to pass this physical. So I know that you're good, and you're playing this weekend. You're going to be the fifth DB to go on the field. Now, that there's good and bad in that, right? But here I am now. I'm sitting in the office with Mike Zimmer and Deion Sanders, and they're giving me a crash test on this secondary and what they want and what they need, blah blah blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying all that somebody's probably Brandon Carr might or whoever might get thrown in this fire, may not be ready
Mm-hmm.
for that. But even as players, man, we gotta suck this thing up, man, and figure out, who you gonna be, what type
Right.
of dudes you gonna be.
Right.
Right? We need some dogs. You
We need
kind of
some
hit on
dogs
it.
right
We
now. I
need some
mean,
dogs in here, and in the secondary, the way the league is built for offenses to score. Man, you can't go out there and be no punk and be worried about it. If you're stuck in that slot, whoever you are, you better figure out a way. Yeah, he can run a drag, a out, a corner, a dig, a post, a out and up, But bro, man, these DBs are making a lot of money nowadays too. And we gotta figure it out. Jerry Jones. So Jerry Jones not going to bring in a $100 safety. He's just not going to do it. We'll keep talking about Earl Thomas. You bring into that. It's just not his philosophy. He's not going to pay a guy $8 million, $10 million. I think that's eventually it's going to have to change because that's where the market's going.
uh-huh.
But if he feels like he can get a steal on a DB somewhere, man, he's going to take it all day long.
So basically, because I got people in the chat asking. So basically, just forget about ET.
You got to forget about ET unless he is going to take a tremendous pay cut. Now I know what kind of money he wanted,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that Jerry Jones would love to have him.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that way, but at 8, I think his asking number was 8-10 million.
Do you think he would be asking for that after he just had this fiasco at Baltimore?
Well, I would say if he was a $4 or $5 million buy,
Mm-hmm.
somebody would have him, whether or not it's the Cowboys or not. I think that would be a steal. So I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I do think that that's what he's still asking for. He's a veteran, he's good, and he's probably sitting there being stubborn as hell, saying, "Hey, I'll just sit out and go somewhere else next year." I don't know, or someone's going to have to come calling me.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think the Cowboys need to call him? Yes, I do, and they need to have a conversation. But I know Jerry with this. He's not going to give him that kind of money. That's why we didn't get Jamal Adams either.
Right.
It doesn't fit his mold. He's not going to do it.
Got you. All right. Well, I'm gonna ask because I got a lot of people want to ask you questions. You know why? You the man. So I'm gonna rattle some questions for you. So let me see what I got here. Jim Laws, one of my guys, asked me, We already talked about the ET thing. What do you think about Snacks Harrison? Should be another conversation that the Cowboys have?
Who?
Snacks Harrison, big boy that was with Detroit last year.
Oh, I can't even. You gotta tell him I ain't studied enough. I don't know. I would be making up something about that. So I apologize for that, but I don't know anything about it.
Got you. All right. So what about the lunatic asked, what do you expect from Xavier Woods this year since it's his contract year?
Ball. Everybody plays their best year, or they should play their best year on contract years.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that he is gonna take more chances, be more physical, try to be more of a ball hawk, and I think he's going to be one of the best guys out there. I think he's going to end up being the leader of our secondary for sure. I think he's going to have a tremendous year. I really do. I think he's going to be forced into it because we still got some other guys that need to pick up their game a little bit. I'm in his corner, man. If he's asking, I'm in his corner.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could have a Pro Bowl year,
Mm-hmm.
which could be problems for us because then we might end up losing another safety or something.
Right.
Good.
All right. Well, I was on the. I'm not away from the Xavier Woods trains, but I'm just like, this is year 4. This is your contract year. I mean, are you going to continue to trend up, or are you just this player? I think that's what my eyes are at with that. So, do you think he's continuing to trend up, and that he's going to basically get another contract with the Cowboys? That's what you're basically feeling.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think he's trending up.
Okay. Okay. And I believe this the lunatic asked another question. He said, "How do you think they should defend Julio? Should they do bracket coverage? Mix it up. Put 2 guys on him. They're going to be moving Julio all around the field. What do you think they should do with Julio Jones as a defense?"
Roll to Julio. Roll to number 11.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody underneath, somebody over the top. Not necessarily man-to-man. I think you got to mix it up. And sometimes you're going to match them up because you got to, play some man, but never without any help, I don't think, because I think that's going to be disastrous. So in our world, we would call it a kick coverage or a roll coverage. Find out where he is. It doesn't matter if he moves, starts on one side, they put him in slot motion to the other. Covers need to roll to the other side. Okay, question will be probably right off of that. What about Calvin Ridley then? Does he become the guy? Yes, I think we got to let Calvin Ridley beat us and not Julio Jones. So roll to him is my short answer. One guy underneath, hands on him, jam him if we can at the line, let him go. Because then you said it, because then you're going to have some crossers, right? The short big can dunk underneath, looking for gauge and all that, but have safeties above, knowing that if Julio heads up the field, it could be problems.
Gotcha. All right, and I got my guy, Vondale Jackson. He asked, do you think we need to grab a linebacker, and is it time to move on from Sean Lee? I'm not going to say LVE right now because it's only, year 3. I think that may have been an unfortunate accident. I want to see, but I'm definitely on the Sean Lee thing. Do you think we should go out and get a linebacker on the waiver wire right now? And do you think this should just be the end of Sean Lee after this year?
Okay. Yes and hell yes. It is past time.
It's been past time.
Past time, and someone was getting into a little argument with me about acting like I'm not a player, and guys get hurt all the time. Yes, but I do know when you have significant injuries over year after year after year after year, typically your career doesn't last this long. Do I think he's a great leader? Do I think he's going to be a great coach or something? I do.
It's time for him to coach now, though. You feel me? It's. I mean, come on, it's not fair. This is not fair. It frustrates me, George. It frustrates me because I said all last year Okay, people was killing me, GT. They was killing me, and you just don't want to leave Sean Lee alone. You just won't leave him alone. I'm like, man, he done missed almost 50 games, and just because he played all last year, he was a reserve. As soon as you put him in a starting role, it gets hurt, and he ain't even practiced yet. Now he's going 6 weeks for a hernia. Like, come on! I don't care if they're not paying him with this contract. I I think he'll be a daggone great coach, but they should have pushed him into that coaching last year, and they should have drafted a linebacker or kept some options. And I said that linebacker depth was going to be a problem, and guess what? It's already reared its ugly head. Jalen Smith has got to step up. You got Sean Lee out. You got LVE out. Now you're going with Joe Thomas. You got Luke Gifford, who I said I like, but he's injury prone too already. Oh, dog, linebackers mean something, and we're talking about this middle and they have a tight end game who they just brought over. I'm a little concerned about that in the middle. GT.
Yeah, who they got? Hayden Hurst, is that the guy?
Yes.
Brought over?
Yes.
Yes. So no, you're on point. So I know that we were going to go into the draft taking a linebacker. And I know CeeDee Lamb fell in our lap, but I think they would have took a linebacker then with that first pick if CeeDee Lamb wasn't there. Now, why we didn't go get one in a free agent market or something else after that, I don't know why. Because I already knew Sean Lee was going to get hurt, right? Just because he played. You hit it all on the head. I don't have to repeat it. It's like you were just like you've been in my head, man. I don't know what you're doing.
That's why I got you on the show, big dog. That's why we're gonna be doing more shows, big dog. That's why we're gonna be doing more.
Yeah, so because you got that, and I think, and I don't know if I was talking to you and Law and those guys about this. I was already worried about Van Der Esch because of his neck and the things that happened. I knew that once you start having those things, shoulders start happening, you start worrying about your neck and you start compensating somewhere else. So I'm not saying that I felt like he was going to get hurt this early, but I had a big concern with two of the main guys that were supposed to start, Sean Lee, Van Der Esch, that I didn't think they were going to be able to make it the whole year. And I didn't feel like we had enough depth to sustain everything that we needed to, especially COVID, maybe guys getting sick or something. I was like, man, we're not built right for that. And I think it's happening. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. So, yeah, Jalen's going to have to try to make some plays, but
he got to make some plays. He got that money. He got that deal. He's got to make plays. I can't make any excuses for Jalen Smith because, and I've been saying this, George. I've been saying this. That leg, it just don't seem right, and nobody wants to talk about it no more because he's made an amazing comeback. But I still feel like there's something wrong with that leg. I still feel like it's not perfect. I feel like he has to have running starts and step up. And when offensive line come to peel him, he moves around the contact. He doesn't let anywhere get up near his legs. And I just be seeing that. And I got the all 22. That's not make believe that I be seeing. It's not ghosts.
Listen, as an evaluator, what you are, and some of your people are, and I'm highly encouraging, and I hope when they get this up that you bring back up and you put some video up somewhere so people can see it. And I'm begging you guys, look at the game. Go look at the game. Replay. It can be the TV version. And look at the very first beginning of the game and just watch Jalen Smith from a purely objective standpoint and look at him as if you were an evaluator. And I promise you, you will look and you will say, he is not 100%.
Right.
Something is going on, whether it's the leg or something else, but he was not running the same way. And I saw that early. Now, does that mean he's not still one of the, a great player? Yeah, sure. But I'm telling you, man, he's not fully there right now. And if Alden Smith, right? 58, yeah. Man, we got some holes, man. And I really thought our defense was going to be the strong point. I've been saying that all offseason. I thought our defense was going to be a strong point for us this year, on top of what we're doing on offense. But man, I'm feeling different.
I'm feel,
I'm not a Cowboy basher. Please, everybody.
Oh, they ain't looking at you like Cowboy Basher. We come on here with the real. We come on here with the real, big dog. We know you a Cowboy through and through. Just speak your mind because this is the real. I'm a Cowboy through and through. I'm from Fort Worth. My whole family reps. You cut me, I'm bleeding. I've been in there came out the womb. You get what I'm saying? And I'm 47 years in the game with it. So I'm cool, but we got to tell the real. We got to talk the real, what we really see. I got a couple questions for you, big dog, and I thank you, appreciate you. I just want to tell you, number one, for all the questions, all the knowledge you've been giving. I appreciate everything that you've been doing tonight. So I just want to give you a big shout out on that, big dog. I really appreciate you for that. But I got a couple questions. I don't like doing these, but I'm gonna give them to you. One of my guys, Gambino, and my other donation, $5 Holly Caleb says, "What do you think is the record prediction of this year?"
Oh, I see why you want to do those. Okay, I think so. I'm very optimistic. And I think I'm still going to go with the way. I think we're 11-5, 12-4 team. I think we get this turned around. I do think we make it into the playoffs. I do think we win the first round of the playoffs. So you're asking me to be real, right?
Be real.
As an analyst, not necessarily as a fan.
Be real.
I think that we either get knocked out after the second round or maybe make it to the NFC Championship. Because I do think that this is going to change. I think we're going to have a better offense next week, which is going to help us, which is going to help the defense in turn, right? I don't think we're going to be strong enough on defense to make it all the way to the big dance, although we got, powerful fronts, front four, those guys up there can ball. But not having the linebackers that we need to have, and now having I'm going to say average secondary, because we don't have a big name guy. We don't have that dude that's just, that you can't throw to or can't go to. I don't know that we have any of those guys. And when you're talking about the Saints and maybe even Tampa Bay now, who knows? And some of these other high-powered offenses, I don't know if we're ready to match up with that to say that we're going to win the whole thing. But I do think we get into the playoffs and win at least one. How about that for honesty? Right?
I'll take that. I'd rather that than anything else. Honesty is the best policy here. So let's make sure we got everybody understands that. Now, also, I got my guy, the Lunatic, asked, what hit do you still remember? What NFL hit do you still is still vivid in your memory that you laid somebody out with?
Okay. And I don't know if he's trying to bait me into talking about Terrell Owens or whatnot.
No, some people already asked. No, we want to know which was your. It ain't got to be the TL hit. Which one that you say that people don't even remember, just that you remember?
We're playing the Giants. Tiki Barber ran a screen on the sideline. This is in the Texas Stadium, and somebody might have been there or remember, but that was probably one of the few times that I would say I had already made up my mind that I didn't care what he did. I wasn't taking any moves. I wasn't going to slow down, and if he was in the way, he was going to feel it. And he was on the sideline, so the sideline was my friend. And I tell you what, I did not slow down, and I laid into his ass, and we both were knocked out. And so, and it was kind of funny, man, as a player when you're sitting here thinking, so I was out, right? I was out. He was out. But here's what happened. We both kind of woke up at the same time, and we both were kind of looking at each other like it's like a boxing match. Like, who's getting up first? Kind of thing. Like, oh, damn, I got to get up. What's the count, right? And so I won. I got up first. I paid for it. I felt it, but that was like, just something. And I've had some big hits in the deal, but that was one of my favorite one. And then, if you haven't hit Terrell Davis, or if no one's ever talked to you about what it felt like to hit Terrell Davis, when we played them up in Denver, I smashed him too. He never even saw me, caused a fumble, got the ball, and I think to this day he still even talks to me about, like, man, bro, I don't know how you did that, But I laid the wood on him too. So those are probably my, a couple of my big plays I felt like I had.
Nice, I love it. I got a question. This is from my own. What is your receiver in the game that you could say that you played against in your career? Not even just Dallas. That where you were just like, man, this dude was just ridiculous, and maybe somebody that we don't all talk about.
Okay.
Not like the Randy Mosses. Name somebody who was just really good that probably doesn't get a lot of pub that you'll say, man, this dude was really good, but not a lot of body talks about this receiver.
Okay. And I'm glad you said that. So I'm going to answer your question, but you do need to know I did play against Randy Moss. I did play against Chris Carter. Obviously, I played when I was Green Bay, played against Michael Irvin, played against Jerry Rice. I mean, I probably can keep going on and on and on about, a bunch of Hall of Famers I played against. One guy that I think gets, and I don't know if this is exactly what you want to hear, the level you want to say, but Eric Metcalf. Bro, there's two people I would say that I was worried about. One, Barry Sanders, playing against him, that basically left, shit in everybody's pants. Metcalf trying to cover him out of a slot or something, it just it wasn't.
What made him so good? Because I watched Eric Metcalf. Eric Metcalf, he went to Texas too, right?
Yes, he did. Yes.
And what made Eric Metcalf so good? Because people sleep on him. I watched him with the Browns. He was nasty. Like, people slip on him just because they I feel like they pigeonholed him as the punt returner, and that just was it. And they didn't really give him any other play. But, man, that dude was good. What made him so good and made you kind of be like, man, I'm dealing with this kid. I got to be on my game?
Deceptive route running, knew the art of being able to get you to lane and go the wrong way, which is always bad. So, we didn't play a whole lot of nickel and all that stuff. You did, you know what I mean? But we were, with my skill set, I had to cover wide receivers more than normal.
Okay.
Hence why I had to match up against Terrell Owens sometimes and guys of that nature. And the way that he stems, okay, hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. The way he would
stem the route
to get you to go or get into a bad position and make you have to pedal differently was different. And that's why I think people maybe didn't give him enough credit, whether it was, size or whatever it was. But the dude is legit.
He said he is legit. For real. I love that. Hey, give me a quarterback. Even slept on or whatever. Give me this, because come on, man. I watched you and I watched in the 90s. I love hearing it from the defensive perspective. What quarterback where you was like, man, this dude when I go, he's ridiculous. Like, he can just set you up with his eyes. He knows the calls. He knows the defense. Like, name me some quarterbacks where you like, man,
Well, okay. And so, again, I just mentioned this about, and these aren't the ones, but I'm just going to tell you when I start talking about comparisons. So I played with and against Dan Marino. I played with and against Troy Aikman. I played with and against Brett Favre, to name a few. I played against Joe Montana. So I saw some dudes, and Now this guy's a Hall of Famer, so this may not be the best thing, but probably I don't know that most people.
No, just tell her. I want you to tell her from you. I don't care what. Just speak your heart, big dog.
But this guy that I didn't have a lot of respect for in college changed my mind in the pros. Name is Peyton Manning.
And tell me about, because I didn't. I'm gonna keep it real. I agree with you. I wasn't feeling Peyton Manning when he came out of college. I just thought, yeah, man, you just stole for a lot of yards, but I don't really think you all that. And even when he was in the pros, I was like, yeah. But you tell me.
Yeah, I didn't have any. I'm say there's not a whole lot of respect for him. Definitely, I mean, he's a Tennessee guy, and it's Bama. It just we watched the film. It wasn't that great, you know. It just the way it was. When he came in, I still didn't feel it. I felt like he had happy feet, and you know, you're just gonna be able to get to him.
Mm-hmm.
But bro, man, when I went up into Indianapolis and we had to play against him, and his ability to have his Tom Brady-ish side of being able to know where to throw the ball,
Mm-hmm.
getting the ball out on time.
Mm-hmm.
The ball he just got better and better and better. And those four beaters or poach beaters or whatever your terminology is, you know, where you're trying to beat quarters,
Mm-hmm.
his ability to do that was extra special. And I actually had to tell him, say, hey man, you know, this was some good stuff, and I started admiring this game a little bit more. I don't like his brother. The Giants. But Peyton, man, that was a good one. You know, I faced probably. It seemed like there was no middle ground for me as a DB. You were either really, really good, or you were
just not good at all.
I was licking my chops and saying,
right. Who'd you lick your chop? Who's the quarterback you licked your chop against? Who's your quarterback?
Jeff George. Brad Johnson.
Name some more. Jeff George, Brad Johnson. Who else?
Guys didn't need to be playing.
And Brad Johnson got a damn Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he threw me a pick for, you know, my 101-yard interception return is in the record books or whatever. He's got it through it to me, or that I stole from him because it really wasn't that good. So, you know, shoot, man, in my 9-year career, these guys, let's see who else did I play against that wasn't very good. Oh, gosh. I don't know, man. Those are the ones that kind of stick out the most that I didn't think were.
Who's your number one quarterback best ever?
Oh. Best ever.
Mm-hmm. And you're not by anybody else that you played against. Who's the best quarterback you've ever played against? And why?
He was okay, and so because I was, dude, man. See, and this question ain't fair to me, right? Because I'm saying this because I'm honored to be able to even talk about having to cover someone like this. But I played against Drew Brees. I played against Tom Brady. Like I said, I played against Brett Favre, Troy Aikman, Dan Marino, Joe Montana. So, you know, when we're saying, golly, I mean, Donovan McNabb, bro. Cunningham. I mean, shoot, I can just name these dudes.
Man, that just had to be awesome playing against all them people. I'm envious.
Yes, phenomenal guys.
That's envious.
People ask me that all the time, man. Who is the best quarterback? So let me just put it this way. Let me give some people some differences on this. Right? Here's another story. Okay? Green Bay. I'm at Green Bay.
Right.
Brett Favre is a quarterback. I'm covering a comeback. I think I'm covering Robert Brooks or somebody like that. It could have been Sterling Sharp. It doesn't matter. Fact is, quarterbacks throw the ball on time on the comeback. They throw the ball before the wide receiver breaks and the DB breaks. Now, y'all didn't see my little face mask, but it's not big enough for the ball to go into it and hit your eyes, right?
Right.
I broke on the ball, turned, snapped my head. Brett Favre's ball literally hit me in the eye. It was so hard and so fast. I felt like I'd just been shot in the eye. Everybody's wondering what's going on and this kind of stuff. But he was a gunslinger. He was going to throw it as hard as he could. And his first year with us, he threw 26 interceptions, and he wasn't all that great.
Right.
But he ended up being, and he was a great leader and something of that nature. Troy Aikman on the other side, right, playing against him, could never, ever get to his ball. I knew the route playing against Michael Irvin. I knew the route, could not get to it.
Really?
He was going to throw it on time, put it in the right spot, and it pissed me off to no end. So I add him into one of my favorites. So these are my two favorite quarterbacks: Brett Favre and Troy Aikman. I'm going to go with Brett Favre, my number one, because I just love his playground attitude. He'd run around, make shit happen, throw the ball. As much as people hated it because you didn't know what he was going to do, that's what he did. But that's the way he was off the field too. He might go hang out at the bar with you. He might be serious with you. He might have a cigar with you or whatever it is. But his life is just the same way that he played football. So Brett Favre, man, that's my answer.
That's surprising. That's surprising. Not saying that Brett ain't that good or nothing like that, but that's just surprising. I want to know, you played against Montana. Why would you put him over Montana?
Probably.
Or like a Marino.
So Marino was, and I'm close to him too, right? So I'm gonna say this. He was stiff. And maybe it was, the two big knee braces and all that kind of stuff. He did throw the ball well, but I played with him, and maybe I'm skewed because it was on the downside of his career. And I'm sitting there watching, and practicing against Montana. I think our defense was good, but I think when I actually played against him, he had guys like Jerry Rice and others that made things happen that weren't necessarily for,
So you think he had well, he was the guy that had the more talent, and that's what made him good.
Yes, and it's the same way I felt about a Breeze or somebody.
See, I want to hear the real. That's what I like hearing. I want to hear the real.
That a lot of times people are surrounded by a lot of talent, and I think now I'm about to, I think this how it happens when it goes into negotiating and what really happens and how people feel, and this whole DAC contract. I don't want to bring this stuff up, but I think a lot of that's looked into on what do these guys do, right? So when you play against a Tom Brady, something like that, he's making more now, but in his prime, he doesn't make bad reads and bad mistakes. It does not matter how much you disguise. Got people stepping up, moving. He watches too much film. He sees something little, and his pre-step read is so doggone good that he just don't make mistakes, right? And I could have said him, but we beat him when I did play against him,
right?
As well, multiple times. It's just when I see a guy that can improvise. Now, I didn't get to play against Michael Vick and some other guys like that probably would have scared me to death, or like a Lamar Thomas, someone that can run and throw. It probably would be different, but I never faced any true running quarterbacks other than
Cunningham, right?
So I didn't have that threat. It was truly on ball, throwing, and scheme. Now this will be different than a lot of different guys. Okay, so anybody watching that, because you probably could ask me about a ton of guys that I did play against, and I probably couldn't tell you enough about them because I didn't play the game that way. I played it with more like a coach on the field. What's the scheme? What are they doing? And not necessarily, oh, that's Terrell Owens over there, or oh, that's Tim Brown over there. We got to watch him. I didn't play the game that way. I played it with what are they running? What are their tendencies? how do I get the big hit or how do I get the interception?
Right.
That's the way I played the game. It really didn't matter until I played Barry Sanders. Okay, someone tackle him, please.
Right.
And so it's a little bit different for me from that standpoint. I think that's why I got into coaching as well, because I'm more worried about the way the X's and O's line up, how are people set up, and not necessarily who it is, but how do I stop, the scheme or them. So anyway, that's a ramble, but that's kind of what it's still how I watch the games, even when I'm watching our deals. I can't go to the game and kind of be ultra fan,
right.
although I am, but it's too hard for me to sit there in the stadium and not look at the way the play develops.
Right.
And say, man, Dak should have threw the ball over there, or listen to some. Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? I'm like, nah, that wouldn't have worked.
Exactly.
So, anyway, I can talk football all day, man. All night. Especially the Cowboys football, because this can be a good year, man, for us. It really could be a special year. I don't know if we're ready to go over. I mean, I'm looking at this thing, and yeah, we got to have some people that step up. You're gonna have to. You mentioned about what do you do with Tony Pollard? How do you get him involved? I just think if they follow your lead a little bit, is open up, getting a little bit more creative. Is that the word? Is that the word we use? They got to get a little bit more creative.
A little more creative.
A little bit more creative, which will happen. And then I think we're off and rolling.
That's what I believe too. I just feel like if we get a little bit more creative, I think aggressive is the word. Just when you're saying it the first game, maybe you were saying, maybe McCarthy held a little bit. No, I think aggressive is the word. Dallas has been too. This is from the history of me seeing Dallas from since I've been a kid up until now. When the Dallas was really good in the 90s, when we were good in the 70s, we had aggressive teams. They had teams that when Dallas was good, they knew they were good. They had the attitude they were good. They let everybody know they were good, and it didn't matter if you didn't like it or not. That's what was going to happen. And that's the attitude that the Cowboys have. I mean, it's the way it's always been. And this attitude of, I don't know. I just feel like it's just not aggressive enough. It hasn't been aggressive enough.
Pre-game, listen though, but who's the vocal leader of our football team?
I don't know.
Who has the shit in their tank to be able to come in and go rile up a locker room?
I don't know. Don't you think we need that though?
Well, and I think, and that's the crutch of the problem here, is that we don't have that guy. We have tremendous football players, okay, but we got good dudes.
We got nice dudes.
We got good dudes. You got the perfect role model and a quarterback, and he's gonna, talk about his problems and be good leaders and all this kind of stuff, and that's great. And that is a good story, right?
But we need nasty.
We don't have the bad guy. Even as much as I would like for Tank to be the person that just snatch up, because I feel like he got that in him, but I don't know that I don't sense that. I think it's, and I've met him and been around him, and he's humble dude, and
we don't got nobody. That's what it is, big dog. I told you, we missing that nasty element. Like when you guys play, y'all had a chip on your shoulder. You had an edge. You guys had an edge. That's why we love the boys, because the edge, y'all played with it. Y'all didn't just, I mean, even with the T.O. thing, big dog, I mean, we all love you for that, because it was like, nah, man, that ain't going to be happening here. And here's the big difference. You went in there and you smashed T.O., okay? They did it when we played the Titans. I think it was 2018. They got an interception and ran on the star, and it was about 6 guys ran on the star, and nobody from the Cowboys came over there. One person did, Byron Jones, and he came over, and I'm sorry, I'm not hating, but he was just Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Break it up in the middle, guys. Don't tap on our star. That's what it looked like, dog. Like, move out the way. Move out the way. Man, that made me mad just in itself. Nobody came, and then if you gonna go in there and break it up, break it up. Don't go in there and, hey guys, break it up. Fight with them. It's football. Fights happen all the time. That's what happens. That's what we need. I know it's X's and O's. The reason why I got excited about Everson Griffin because he wild. He got an edge to him. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that, and we need it, and that's why teams run over us in the third quarter. They run over us in the fourth quarter because we don't have that edge and that nastiness to say, once you get on the field, we're getting 3 and out on you. We're getting this big sack. We're getting this big turnover. We don't have that, big dog, and I think that's an element that's missing from this team, and that's why we still are in the same place.
Have you seen anybody ever get mad on the sideline?
Nah. When Dez did it, everybody got mad at him saying, he ain't a team player.
Right. So, but you have to have that, especially up in the league, man. And with this high-profile team and what we're trying to get, I mean, I don't know that we've had a coach either that has kind of been edgy.
No.
That I mean, JG wasn't like that.
Nope.
You know, he was more. And 10 years, and you do kind of mold yourself after a coach sometimes. You know, but you
the
look
team
at
did.
Yeah, you look at a Tomlin or someone. You know, they're just different kind of players, right? And you say, well, yeah, but some of them got in trouble and all that kind of stuff. Well, you know what? Try to win games. And you do have to have some A-type personalities on your football team to get you there. That someone can get in someone's face, and say, "Hey, bro, you know, we trying to win some games here. It's good for all of us." And they can make it about money or whatever they want to make it. I mean, we talked about it. You don't go to the playoffs. So I don't know if y'all know, you get bonus checks, right, when you go.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I mean, that's just. I'm glad you feel what I feel, and because you played, and I'm glad you feel what I feel, because I've been feeling this for a long time. We needed an edge. I've been saying we need an edge. I've been saying that we need an attitude. I've been saying it's about attitude. You can have a very good player. Man, I've coached plenty good players. I got guys playing college football right now that have played under me, George. But I had some animals, and so there's kids that have it, and there's kids that don't. And I couldn't manufacture it out of a kid when you just didn't have it. But then there was this some edgy kids. They got the whole team just. I remember I had this one kid. I'm gonna tell you a story. We had this one kid, George, right? I was the year before we went undefeated and we won a championship, but I lost quite a bit of my players to high school. So, and I was coaching like the senior division. So I was running I loved running the 3-4 defense because I loved having my backers be able to blitz in any kind of different type of formats because it's kind of basic. They try to be real basic in there, but I was being real integral with my defense. But I loved that 3-4. But I needed that dog in the middle, right? I needed a guy in the edge. I needed a guy in the middle. So I had my son. My son was a big boy, and I had this other kid, and they were good. And I had my whole team, right? But I was like, I kept on saying, man, I just need one kid, and he just happened to show up at practice one day, right? And when you just see somebody, big dog, you just see me like, that's him. You just look at him, and you're like, that's him. And when I saw him, I was like, there you go, there you go. My first thought was, is he too old? Because some of them come practice and you're going to go over there and talk to him.
You have a very good player. Man, I've coached plenty good players. I got guys playing college football right now that have played under me, George. But I had some animals.
Is that yours?
Yeah, that's me. I'm sorry.
Are you good? I was like, but it was funny because when I saw him, I thought he was too old, but he wasn't. And then I didn't see him again for like 2 weeks. So his friend, I kept calling him like, hey, man, hey, please bring him to weigh in. Please bring him to weigh in. Just please. He ended up being the right age. He ended up coming to my weigh-in. He changed my whole defense, and I had a nice defense. But his attitude, not only did he have the ability, but he was edgy. When he came into practice, he went a million miles an hour in practice, every single play. He had an attitude, and he made everybody, if they were playing or goofing off, he'd be like, hey, man, stop doing all that talking. And the kids would chill. And he became somebody I didn't have to sit there and tell the kids all the time. He became like a general before me. But it raised my whole defense. My defense was good, but my defense became great because of him, because they just started following his lead. Other kids on the team started getting more edgy. Other kids started getting more of an attitude because he was bringing it, because he was making everybody play to his level. And I love DeMarcus Lawrence's talent. But like you said, I don't know if he brings everybody up to say, hey, man, let's go. I don't know if they all follow him just because he's talented. I don't know if they all follow him. You get what I'm saying? Like, we need somebody on the defense that they say he can put his hand up and say, follow me, I got this. Or they vibe off of him. I'm trying to find that guy on this defense that can do that. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, we ain't got it though, boss. We ain't got it. And so until we get that, I don't know how you're gonna get it, because you gotta some of that, and you've hit on a lot of good things. Some of that you gotta draft or find in free agency, because bro, what you were saying about a lot of guys would just have that in them, right? The Nate Newtons, as funny as they are and nice they are, he had, some stuff that he brought to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Irvin, we had a lot of them, right? Guys that were vocal, even Emmett. I mean, even as good as a running back he was, his standards were so high, and he held players, other guys around him, to a standard of what winning was supposed to be like, what practice was supposed to be like, how this is supposed to, be executed. And I don't know that we got that in our guys. I think you and I might have talked about this on one of the other shows on the late night episode, about guys just being selfish, right? Just being selfish about things and not doing everything totally for the team within the scope. So you can be an individual within a team scope, but ultimately, regardless, and this is so hard for players to figure out, especially nowadays, different world than when I played, I get it. But it was even hard for me at times to say, especially when you go from team to team, right? Because you say, well, where's your loyalty, George? Are you a Green Bay Packer? Are you a Miami Dolphin? Are you a Cowboys player? All I knew at the time that I was in, that's who I was, and that's who I was going to represent to the fullest. And I don't know guys do that now. I think they're just still trying to look out for
It's more about the brand and more about the money.
The brand, I got to do this live, I got to do this podcast or whatever it is, and you got to do this stuff, and then you lose
too many distractions
of other stuff, and it happens. I mean, it just, I don't know. Our game is different like that, but the Cowboys, man, we have to get back. There has to be someone to say, man, just cut that out and let's go do what we can do. We can win. We can win 11 games or 12 games, but this is what we got to do. And we don't have that guy. I don't think so. I don't feel that way.
I agree, and I think that's the reason why I still feel like I love the talent on the team. I love what McCarthy's bringing. I'm still excited, but that part of me still, in the bottom of my heart, still feels like that's what you're missing, and I wonder if that's what's going to bite us in the end later on again, because I don't know, man. It's just something that I've seen you guys, and I just watched it even when I coach. You got to have that type of attitude, and I just feel like our team is just too nice. I just feel like our team is just still too nice. We're just nice to people, and I mean, even against the Rams, we were nice. I didn't feel like we weren't edgy in that game. We weren't edgy. We were just nice. We just came out there like, okay. We didn't come out there edgy and all up in their face and after them. And
bro, that's because all you gotta do is watch up front.
I know.
Just watch the defensive lineman and watch the defensive line. They're talented, right? But real talk, right?
Real talk.
You ain't got nobody teabagging nobody. Nobody's sitting down on somebody.
Right.
Trying to make.
They helping them up, being nice, patting them on the butt, patting them on the head, probably like, you okay? We don't, dog, come on. You're right. We don't have nobody slapping fool or grabbing the helmet, poke an eye out something. We don't got none of that.
No, we don't have that. And I don't. Well, I would say that probably was coached differently with Jason Garrett. I would probably say he probably didn't condone any of that kind of stuff.
No.
Him and being around him. McCarthy, though, I mean, when you look at guys that played for him, the Clay Matthews, was Charles Woodson there?
Yeah, Woodson was there.
I mean, these were different dudes,
mm-hmm.
right? And they had a different type of attitude.
Julius Peppers.
Yes, that he either attract some of those guys or try to help build these guys or give guys a freedom to say, you know what, we might have to take 15.
You feel me?
At some point in time, just to get people to go. Now, I didn't see him. See, even McCarthy.
He was calm as hell that game.
On the bad calls, right? Do we agree to that bad calls?
Yeah.
Pass interference stuff?
Yeah. And he was quiet. Like, I used to see McCarthy going nutso on the sidelines. McCarthy was all in it. He was so calm and cool. I was just looking outside like, dang, McCarthy. I used to see McCarthy used to be very animated up and down the sidelines. Like, that was what you knew about him. That's what the attitude I liked about him. And I hope Jerry and Stephen ain't made him just calm down.
Jerry's not like that.
What about Stephen?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tell me. All right. Before we get off here, because I'm gonna get off here, got the girls got to go to bed. But I want you to tell me about Stephen. I'm not saying say anything bad. I mean, but I want to know because I feel like I don't know Jerry, but I've seen Jerry enough. I ain't seen Stephen enough, so I don't really know about him. And he seemed different sometimes. Something about I don't know. Tell me what's up. What's your thoughts about Stephen?
What do you mean? Something about you don't know? What are you?
I'm telling you, man, Stephen. I don't know, man. Something about him, I don't know.
No, I wouldn't go there, and I can't say I know him as well as because the side of the family that I'm closest to.
But you know, Jerry don't give a hell. He brings it. Stephen just seems like he opposite.
Well, he's being the counterbalance.
Mm-hmm.
Or you start to have an organization and a team like the team formerly known as the Redskins.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't get out of control up there. And we're all dealing with enough stuff in, front office or, how people feel about that and
mm-hmm.
things of that nature. And I think that family, the Jones family, the Anderson family, they do a good job of counterbalancing each other. You ain't got to remember to them it's still a business and they're still
right.
trying to be. How much is the team worth now?
Right, you're right. Exactly. And he done double, triple, quadruple the profit.
Hey, when you get all yours too, make sure you let me get a little piece of that when you get your first billion. When you get your first billion, man, make sure I get some of that. But you know what? And honestly, I have had conversations. I've been around them. I've been up in the suites and done all the other kind of stuff. And honestly, they've been good to me.
Mm-hmm.
The family's been good to me. Jerry has probably been the one that's more direct, more a personality guy that just said, hey, this is what he's very direct and straight, mm-hmm. that this is what I expect.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do this, if you want to be a part of our organization, if you want to have autograph sessions, if you want to do this, this mm-hmm. is what you're going to have to do.
Mm-hmm.
George,
mm-hmm.
And this is how you do it. And mm-hmm. I like that. I think most players like that.
Right.
But when you start going into the other piece with Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones Jr., they're not like that. I know that Stephen's kind of out a little bit more in the media and picking up some of the talking points, but he was never that guy when I've been around him at all. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, we're gonna see what happens this year. But I appreciate you, big dog, and you definitely gotta be coming on more, man. I had a great time. The people in the feed loved it. They was jumping up and down about it. Had a good crowd. Thank for everybody who was in here today. Really appreciate everybody. The donations, all my mods. I guess it was getting a little crazy in there. My mods took care of it. I couldn't concentrate on all of it, so I appreciate everybody who was in the feed. Love all my members that donated. Everybody who wasn't a member, appreciate everything that y'all did today. But once again, big dog, tell them what you're doing. I want everybody to know who didn't hear it in the very beginning. Let them know what you got going on, from the coaching, all that good stuff, and where they can find you if they ever want to watch any podcasts, anything you got going on. Let them all know right now, big dog.
Yeah, all right. The first thing I want to say, and you didn't mention this, but you'll be excited about this too because I know you done some stuff with them. So I do have a podcast, Teague's Take podcast. You can find any on all of the engines, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Teague's Take. Tomorrow night, I'm actually interviewing Darren Woodson on the podcast, and we're actually going to be talking about the day that I hit Terrell Owens and the day that he got kicked out of the game. This is the second part series of that. We had Clancy Pendergrass on last week. This week, Darren Woodson, I'm really interested to see what he's going to say. Tell everybody what actually happened in the locker room when we both got kicked out and we were in there. So y'all might want to check that out tomorrow, 6 o'clock p.m. Live. Okay. So I do that. I love that. And then one more thing on that. The following week, I might have to have you in as a special guest here soon too.
For sure.
But the following week, I got my family coming on because everyone always asks me about TO and what that meant. I'm bringing my wife on the show to talk about it, my sister-in-law. And for those of y'all who didn't know, my brother got kicked out of the game at the same time that I did. He's going to be on the show talking about what happened and why that happened. So it's going to be pretty interesting, I believe. It'll be good. So that's Teague's Take podcast. I'm also the coach at John Paul II High School. And you guys like high school football, when you're here in Texas, in Plano, come on out. Check us out, man. I'm the AD, head football coach. We got our first scrimmage tomorrow, and I'll be out your way, out Fort Worth way. We play Fort Worth All Saints later on in the year, so looking forward to having a good year. If anybody need me, y'all follow me on Twitter. Teague Football on Twitter, Instagram. Hit me up there. Appreciate it, man. It's good.
Hey, and also tell him about. I know that. Go look at his Twitter, cause his food that he be cooking on there be ridiculous. If you just go check out Twitter, and you're gonna see that. And I'm gonna tell you right now, when I come holler at you, I need to get for real. I need to get some of them slabs. I mean, all that stuff you be doing, I'll be mad as hell because I ain't there right then.
We're going to do this tailgate thing. We're going to figure it out. Once this COVID stuff, we'll get together and we're going to put the grills out at the park or at the stadium, wherever we can have it, and let's have a throwdown, man. I'm good with it.
Okay.
Right.
We're definitely going to do that again. And once again, man, I appreciate you jumping on here, taking your time out your day, because like I said, I know you're doing, practice, you're doing your thing at school, you got so many things going on. And let's give your daughter one more shout out before we get off here. Let everybody know what your daughter's doing, because I think that's amazing.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Jada Teague, Jada Anissa. You can find her on Twitter and Instagram at Jada Anissa. She's working with the Sports Illustrated as a student and covering the Houston Texans. Doing a tremendous job there, man. We're hoping that one day she'll end up being on, one of these channels, maybe being a sideline reporter.
Oh, she's going to be doing that. I've seen her. She's good.
Yeah. So y'all follow her up. She just put out another one today that was amazing. I don't think I retweeted it yet or reposted it yet, but she's doing a great job. So, and you are too, man. Keep doing your thing. Love your fans. Love what you guys do. Please know when I say to you, however I can be a part of your fan base and their group, And the next time, all I want is make sure we got our film up. So
Yes, we got to get that all 22 because I really want next time we do this, we're gonna have that all 22 popping, and we're gonna have the screen, everything. I'm gonna have another monitor so we can. I'm gonna have it all hooked up so we can actually look at the plays right then and there, and we can actually dissect it right then and bring everybody in it. So it's one thing to talk about it, but it's better to talk about it and see when you're talking about it, so people can really understand what's going on. Just like when you were talking, I had a guy on here, Brandon Tucker. He trained Alden Smith. He trains a lot of Cowboys. And, I brought him on just to break down the defensive positions as you were talking about the 1 tech, the 3 tech, the 5, the 7, the Mike, the Will, the Sam. A lot of people don't know these positions when you mention them. So I brought him on to kind of tell about A and B gap, where the techs play and what gaps they should shoot. So that's why I like bringing you on, because I like to educate the people and even educate myself because I don't know it all. So I always like to get myself educated as well so I can hear from some of the greats so I can continue to spit good knowledge and information from people I've learned from. That's why I like bringing you guys on because it helps me get even stronger in my knowledge of the game as well. So